Developmental stage. A stage of development is an age period when certain needs, behavior, experiences, and capabilities are common and different from other age periods. According to Soundtrack, there are 8 stages of development called prenatal stage, infancy, early childhood, middle and late childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, middle and late adulthood, and lastly, late adulthood. Stage of development and developmental tasks. Prenatal stages. The development takes place quickly during this stage. It involves tremendous growth from a single cell to an organism completely with the brain and behavioral capabilities. It is divided in 3 stages called gestation. First, germinal stage. It is the 2 weeks after conception. It happens when egg cell and sperm cell met to form a zygote. Zygote tends to divide quickly. The resulting modes of cells move along the mother fallopian tube to the uterus. The wall of cell starts being embedded to the wall of uterus. This process called implantation. Second, embryonic stage. It takes place after germinal stage until 2 months after conception. The developing ball of cell is now called embryo. In this stage, called the major organs from embryo become fragile. Third, fetal stage. Lasts after 2 months after conception until birth. Fetus grows swiftly as bone and muscle form and it begins to move inside the uterus. Organ system develop further and start to function. During the last 3 months, the brain increases rapidly in size, but body system start to work independently. After the prenatal stage, children must go to the next stage, called infancy stage. In this stage, children must pampered a lot of love from their parents. Infancy stage is the second stage in human development. It starts from the birth up to 2 years old. Children who are under 2 years old are also known as love baby. They fully depend on their mothers or caregivers. There are 2 types of this stage, the psychological aspect and sociological aspect. The psychological aspect in this stage, language develop can be seen by the sound by there from going babbling, crying up to 1 word to 2 words in which known as hollow phrases. The last one is psychological aspect. The early stage of the child. Physiological activities can be observed by the baby can make their stand such as reaching his or her feet. During the infancy, their emotion follows a pattern those connected to maturation. Infants only have basic emotions such as fear, joy, and anger. Do not take time to develop. Also, infants will develop through social awareness, and as it grows, they will begin to social emotion, like embarrassment and guilt. The infancy stage is just a beginning of proper development. Early childhood. When the baby becomes 3 years old, they enter the stage of early childhood. Child can now do basic tasks like feed herself and play. Do what their favorite things to do. Initiative versus guilt is the third stage of psychological development and it's occurs between the age of about 3 and 5. This stage is entered on developing a sense of self-initiative. Children who are allowed and encouraged to engage in self-directed play emerge with a sense of strong initiative. While those who are encouraged, we begin to feel a sense of guilt over their self-initiative activities during this period. The primary feature involves the child regularly interacting with other children at school. It is at the stage as the children will begin to ask many questions as children's thirst for knowledge grows. If the parent treat the children's question as a trivia, a nuisance, or embarrassing or other aspect of their behavior as threatening them, the child may have feeling of guilt for being a sense. Too much guilt can make the child slow to interact with others and many inhibit their creativity. Some guilt is a course of necessary, otherwise the child would not allow how to exercise self-control of have a conscience. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of purpose while failure result in the sense of guilt. When the children turn 6, they become more talented and creative. The new hobby was gained.
Middle and late childhood, 6 to 11 years of age. Children have progress in their physical, cognitive, and psychosocial skills, approach learning with excitement, minds are open to new and varied ideas, motivate to learn because of their curiosity, and desire to understand more about themselves, their body, the world, and the influence that the different things in the world have on them. Rate of growth generally slow during these years. Typically, a child will gain about 5 to 7 pounds a year and grow about 2 to 3 inches per year. They also tend to slim down and gain muscle strength and lung capacity, making it possible to engage in physical activity for long periods of time. In this stage is a period of great change for them when attitudes, values, and perceptions of themselves, their society, and the world are shaped and expanded. Visions of their own environment and the cultures of others take on more depth.
When the person reaches the adolescence age, they become more conscious of her appearance. The body started to show the maturity.
Adolescence is the age when a person transforms from childhood to adulthood. Adolescents grow through a lot of changes as they grow older physically, intellectual, personality, and social development. Adolescence begins at puberty. The first one is the breast development. The next one is the pubic hair development shortly after breast development. The next one is the hair under the arms or facial hair. And lastly, menstrual periods. Adolescence comes into many changes that just physically but also intellectually and socially. It will improve their creative thinking skills, allowing them to create plans, set long-term goals.
Adolescence is when the person turned 21, person focusing on their goal and start to finish step by entering college.
Early adulthood is a period with personal development when the individual experience major life transitions, such as leaving parental home, leaving education, employment, and parenthood, who are typically vibrant and it focuses with friendship, romance, childbearing, careers, with serious condition to anxiety and depression, and eating disorders, the negative impact to the young adults. Early adulthood are physical ability are active including muscle strength, reaction time, sensory, and cardiac functioning. In process also begins during early adulthood where characterized vision and reproductive ability.
When reaching middle adulthood, they start to adjust the new social rules, learn to take care of their own family.
When a person turns to 36 to 60 years of age, called middle adulthood, the person begins to adjust home life without children. Most of the time, a person be called as a grandparent. In this video, you can see her doing done inside the home like cooking, cleaning, watching, listening. Not to be bored, there are two types of mental ability measurement. Fluid intelligence is the ability to process concepts and facts quickly and creatively. while crystallized intelligence is a stored knowledge from her experience and education. The both mental ability can become higher when people ages.
When a person is in the stage of late adulthood, they started to have wrinkles and white hairs, also retired from their work.
Late adulthood. Substages of late adulthood. Young, old ages 60 to 74, old ages 74 to 84, and oldest old ages 85 and up. Development is more diverse in late adulthood than at any other age. Some elderly people run marathons and lead nations, while the others are no longer able to move or think. Many social scientists have tried to understand these variations in the general course of old age. Most older people consider their personalities and attitudes to have remained quite stable over their lifespan, even as they recognize the physical changes of their bodies. Objects and places become more precious in late adulthood than they were earlier, as a way to hold on to identity. Musculoskeletal system changes includes loss of muscle strength, decrease in the number of muscle cells, loss of bone mass. Falls are common in older adults, and in sensory changes, loss of taste buds, hearing loss, diminished sense of smell, diminished vision, diminished perception of pain, and diminished reaction of time. In this stage will lead to the virtue of wisdom. Wisdom enables a person to look back on their life with a sense of closure and completeness, and also accept that without fear.